Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
When the police marched me into the psychiatric hospital where I was sectioned, I was not thinking about the Mental Health Act, 1983. In the middle of a psychotic breakdown, I thought I was working for world peace on behalf of MI6 and aliens, and engaged to Kylie Minogue. As crazy as a cricket or, in clinical terms, in a manic state and suffering delusions, I had run my car off the road and dug holes in my ceiling. Like the 60,000 people in psychiatric hospitals right now, and the 1 in 4 of us who will suffer mental illness at some point in our lives, I needed urgent treatment. Tens of thousands of us are affected, and experts know how to help us. The problem is what we actually do about mental health lags tragically behind what we know about mental health. This is why the new government's proposed reform of the Mental Health Act is so important. They urgently need to get it right because it will make or break the life chances of thousands of us, and those of our children. The Mental Health Act 1983 contains the most powerful legislation in Britain. It lays out the laws under which you can be held in a psychiatric ward and treated against your will, if you are judged not to have the capacity to make rational decisions. Having a breakdown is not a crime, but the Mental Health Act gives you fewer rights than a prisoner. If you go to prison, you won't be pinned down by guards and injected with drugs, as you can be in a mental hospital. When a nurse explained this to me that first night in the psychiatric hospital, I took the pills. In prison you won't be woken hourly throughout the night with a torch shining in your eyes, or be studied while you eat breakfast, to gather evidence on what should happen to you. Have you ever tried to eat Rice Krispies in a sane way? I boiled it down to meaning slowly and carefully. You also won't be forcibly injected with medication that may make you better or may make you worse. Nobody knows until you have tried it, which is why my psychiatrist gave me a choice of 3 drugs, saying, pick one. Those first days on the ward were scary and lonely, but I was lucky to be in a well-run unit. The ward was quite new, many are old and crumbling, adequately staffed, many are not, and we had our own rooms, most do not. And, luckily, it was near my home. Many patients are sent far away from their support networks, disastrously. Our system is so overloaded that staff turn you away if there is someone more ill than you, however ill you are. According to the Royal College of Psychiatrists, nearly a quarter of people in urgent mental distress wait more than 12 weeks to see a psychiatrist. That is more than enough time for things to get worse, for you to harm yourself, or, in extreme and tragic cases, to harm someone else. To reform mental health, sufferers, clinicians and professionals involved in this vital sector, from support workers to politicians, need to understand the causes of the distresses and illnesses of the mind. The mistaken 20th century idea that there was a chemical imbalance in the mind of the sufferer, or some other physical defect with the brain structure, has been debunked by psychiatry. But if you suffer mentally, you may well still be treated as though there is something physically wrong with you. We now know that whatever you are suffering is most likely rooted in your childhood and your life experiences since. But GPs lack both the time and tools to treat your life. That takes therapy. Instead, they classify you with a diagnosis and point you to medication. This leads to millions of prescriptions for antidepressants and other drugs, and being told you are bipolar and you need to take long-term medication, possibly for life, as I was, is terrifying and can dominate your entire existence. We diagnose many people, especially women, with crushing, stigmatizing labels such as borderline personality disorder. This can be code for, I don't know how to treat you, according to clinicians I interviewed for my new book, Your Journey, Your Way, about what we should do about mental health. Or it can be used punitively, to exclude someone who objects to treatment, or who makes a fuss. A psychiatrist I spoke to, who was herself hospitalized, said she was careful to be a good patient so as not to be given a personality disorder diagnosis. Many psychologists, clinicians, and